Hello, optimists. I'm coming to you today from the great state of Washington, and it's really exciting to be a part of the first virtual Optimist International Convention. Right now, we're going to talk about how to gain followers through social media in a presentation that I call Follow Me. Allow me to introduce myself. That's me, hanging out there by the water. I love being by the beach. My name is Linda Vaught Disney, and I am a member of the Share a Smile Optimist Club. I am a member of the Optimist International Marketing Committee this year, and I've served as the Vice President for the West Coast region, and in 2009-2010, I was the Governor of the distinguished Pacific Northwest District. I have a master's degree in journalism with an emphasis in public relations, and I've been practicing freelance public relations for about 10 years. I have a current major project, and that is performing external communications with the City of Tacoma venues and events. For 20 years, I was also a nonprofit association executive. So what is our mission today? Today we're going to discuss social media strategy, and I'm going to give you 10 tactics that will help your Optimist Club gain more followers and more fans. But first, let's share some statistics. Twitter has 330 million active monthly users. Instagram has 1 billion active monthly users. YouTube has 2 billion active monthly users. And Facebook has 2.6 billion active monthly users. Now, given those statistics and your limited time as a volunteer, let me ask you a question. Where do you want to focus your efforts? Understand, developing a following is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't suddenly create a video that goes viral and gets 1 million views and then get 1 million followers. It just doesn't happen. That's a lark and something we all hope to see, but not very likely. So you have to start somewhere. And I always say you need to start with a website. And then, remember those statistics? 2.6 billion people go to Facebook and actively use it every month. Obviously, you want to follow through on Facebook. Your website is your home base. What we have here is a banner from the Pacific Northwest Optimist Clubs. And I'm not going to go into a lot about a website. However, what you need to know, your website is where you store all of your marketing and communications collateral. And it's also where you send both members and stakeholders to learn more. So some of the things that you need to be sure to keep or to create on your website are right here in the navigation. First of all, this is the home page. You're only seeing the banner, and it says, "We're optimists. Will you join us?" If you scroll all the way down that page, you're going to see a membership application. You're going to see a Friend of Optimist application, and you're also going to see a club directory because people may not be located right where I am located in the Tacoma, Washington area. They might be in Fort Lauderdale and happening upon my website. I want them to be able to find a club wherever they are. So always be sure and help people find clubs no matter where they reside. The other things you need to be sure and have, we're just going to go through this navigation. News for you. I consider news for you to be things that are happening immediately. Some might call it a club bulletin, but things that your club members need to know right then. You also want to have your club officers on your website. A picture's nice, but definitely be sure and have their contact information. Committees. Committees are important because they allow clubs to feel connected. They can see what committees they might be a part of, but it also allows people who come to your website from your community to know what you have going on. So they can decide, well, is this a good fit for me? Would my project that I have going on, could the optimists be a good partner? So be sure and keep those committees updated. You also always want to have the Optimist Creed. I'd go so far as to bet, and I think I'd win, the Optimist Creed is by far the most searched for words for anything to do with Optimist International. People love our creed. We love our creed. Make sure it's always part of your website. The next thing you want to be sure and have are meetings and events, because club members want to know when your meetings are, potential new members want to know when your meetings are, and of course everyone wants to know when your events are happening. Now the next one is stories, and it's the one that I think is most important or most fun because I'm a blogger. I've been blogging since 2007. Sometimes I blog a lot, sometimes I blog a little, but I have had a presence online talking about Optimist Club since 2007. I do it at two different sites. One of them is experienceoptimism.org, and the other one is pnwoptimistclubs.com. You can go there to find out club projects from around the world, club projects specifically from Pacific Northwest, and you can also get a feel, kind of a testimony for how I believe optimism makes a difference. And that's what's important about the stories or blogging, is you can give those perspectives yourself about your Optimist Club. And of course then you also want to have contact information and be real certain that phone number and that email that you use, be sure they're attended. Make sure somebody is looking at them a day, every day is the best, but at least every couple of days, because you will get phone calls and you will get emails wanting to know about your Optimist Club or wanting to know how people can get involved, or of course a lot of people want donations, but that's okay because you want to be connected to your community. So what about those other platforms? We talked about Twitter, we said how many followers Instagram and YouTube has, and I said use Facebook, and I definitely believe that. Facebook and the other platforms are the amplifiers for your website. And what we have on here is exactly what Facebook is going to do. It allows you to inform, promote, and engage. In this top picture, that's my husband, Dick Disney. He's watching the PNW District Oratorical Contest. Of course, it was held, like everyone's was held this year, in a virtual setting. And you might be able to see on the right-hand side what I've done is I've put a picture of him watching. I've put down who the winners were, and we got, 20 or so likes on the page. We got a lot of talking going on, saying, oh, this was great to be able to participate in the virtual oratorical contest. We had contestants and their parents log on to say, wow, thanks, Optimist. We really appreciate the opportunity. So Facebook is where you engage. People get to write what they think. You get to write what's on your mind, and you get to share information. You also need to be promoting. Not only promoting your club and your club activities, you've also got to promote just your Facebook page. And that's what I've got shown here on the bottom, is just an advertisement for our Facebook page. It says facebook.com, PNW Optimist. We like you a lot. If you'd please share our page, others could feel the like too. There's no harm and no shame in self-promotion when it comes to Facebook and your Optimist Club page. Next thing we need to talk about just a little bit is strategy. Because before you start a page, you need to think about, why are we doing this? What is our goal? Do we want to provide information? Do we want to promote an activity? Do we want to entertain? You might want to do a little bit of all of those things. But the way your content is created is based on what your goal is. It's also good to know if you're making a difference. The only way that you'll know is if you measure it. So question, how will you measure it? You can use a qualitative measure, which is you saying, oh, people seem happier now that we have a Facebook page. People tell me that it's a really good thing, that they saw that we have a bicycle rodeo and they can't wait to get involved. I feel like it's making, a difference because people just mention things to me. But I say it's better to use a quantitative method, and that's just as simple as counting your likes. Count the likes that occur on your posts. Count the number of new followers you have, the number of new fans that you have, how many people engage on a weekly basis. And now I'm going to tell you a secret. Facebook helps you do all of those things. There's Facebook Analytics, comes with the page, and it will tell you how many likes you get in a week, how many likes you get in a month, where the people followed you from, how many shares you have, whether your post was liked actually on your page or on someone else's share. There are just tons of analytics that Facebook puts together for you. And once you're in there looking, they'll even help you create graphs. So be quantitative, actually measure, do your analysis, and know that you're making a difference. Because if you're not making a difference, you're going to want to adjust what you're doing. Now, I think this is a really important question. It's very important to know, who is your audience and what do they want to know? This is going to help you engage with your members, who are your internal audience, and it's also going to help you engage with stakeholders, who are your external audience. So what kind of content are both of those people looking for, or all of those people, both of those segments? Your internal communication, your members, they just want to be communicated with. They want to know what's going on. They need to know meeting dates. They need to know your activity dates. They love to hear progress reports from your committees, and they want a call to action. Ask them to help you in the planning of an event. Say you have an Easter egg hunt coming up. You're going to want to say, hey, come over to Joe's house on the Saturday week before Easter so we can stuff those Easter eggs, and then plan to be there on the Saturday before Easter to help us lay them all out and put on the event. We really want to have you be a part of our Easter egg hunt, and do that with all of your events. Get more people involved. Create that call to action. You also want to talk about membership growth. Now, your members are going to say, I don't want to hear about that. Tough. They need to hear about it. If we don't talk about members, if we don't talk about growing our clubs, we're not going to be able to do those programs that are so important to us. However, when you're also talking about membership growth, you're wanting to create fellowship. So talk about member news. Maybe you have someone in your club that's retiring, or maybe someone got a promotion or a new job. Maybe someone had a baby. Share this good news with the other members. Also share celebrations. Now, member birthdays and anniversaries, those are kind of commonplace things that we do. But other celebrations that we might have might be your installation banquet. That's a celebration. How about making Honor Club? What a wonderful celebration that is. If every year you make Honor Club and you celebrate it by telling everyone on Facebook, throw the balloons up, throw out the confetti. And then, why are we Optimist Club members? It's because we're inspired by the Optimist Creed. Yeah, we like to do those things with kids and with other adults, but it's the creed that really keeps us going. So you want to be sure on your page that you're always sharing some inspiration and motivation. And of course, everyone loves photos. Facebook loves photos. It's why it's called Facebook. So be sure and share photos. Now, what do our outside audience, the external audience, want to hear? First of all, what is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is anyone in the community that would miss the Optimist Club if they were gone. So it might be someone who participates in an activity. It might be somebody who's just a friend. But external stakeholders want to know similar things that our members want to know. They want to know about our projects. They want to know about program promotion. And of course, we want to invite them to our fundraisers. Something that's pretty easy to do is put together an annual report, something short and something that can be read over a cup of coffee, and share that with your stakeholders via Facebook. They love to read that. They, of course, want to see about celebrations as well. The fact that we are celebrating 100 years or 101 now is so important. We have staying power as Optimist Clubs. We've been around for a long time, and we intend to be around longer. Of course, you want to share that Optimist Creed. Our external stakeholders love that. And I always say, give that invitation to #JoinAnOptimistClub. And of course, our external customers want to see those photos. Photos are so important for them because they may say, hey, look, there's Sherry. I didn't realize she was an Optimist Club member. Maybe I should join too. So share those photos. Now we're on to what we said we were really going to talk about, and that's those tactics. What do we need to do to gain those followers? So some of the tactics are, first of all, listen. You see that little kitty cat right there? He's got his ears perked up. He's got his eyes peering over the table. He's looking. You may or may not know he's there. The first thing that you should do is listen. You want to hear what hear or read what other people are saying about your Optimist Club, about optimism in general, about Optimist International, about Optimist Club programs or projects. You want to see if your members are sharing activities on their page. Are they talking about how wonderful it is to be part of an Optimist Club? All of these things are going to help you develop your content so you know what to share. It will let you know if people have a friendly feeling towards your Optimist Club or if they have an antagonistic feeling. And it will help you design that optimistic view. Next, you want to create a content calendar. And you want to do this after you've done your listening so that you know what direction to approach things. Now, some people consider a content calendar to be very difficult and very time-consuming. And I'm going to tell you it can be. Because if you were a professional social media manager, you might have a content calendar that says, on January 1st at 9 a.m., I am going to post this, and at 1 p.m. I'm going to post that, and at 5 p.m. I'm going to talk about this topic. And you might have something that's very structured that takes you through each and every day. We're volunteers, and we're Optimist Club members. We want to talk about very positive things, but we're volunteers. We need to do it in a streamlined way. So this is the content calendar I use. On Monday, I post about club news, something going on with the Optimist Club. On Tuesday, I post about Optimist International information. Right now, of course, as I'm recording this, I'm posting about the virtual convention. Later on in the year, I'll be promoting about getting your forms all completed so that you can turn everything in by the end of the year, making sure that you have your club officers elected. Everything that Optimist International wants us to do. Of course, and I don't want to forget this, I'll always be talking about Honor Club. On Wednesday, this is probably my most shared day on our Facebook page for the PNW Optimist Clubs, and that is my hashtag Be an Optimist Day. I do create a lot of my own. However, I share something optimistic, an inspirational quote, a motivational quote, always on Wednesday. On Thursday, I do a Throwback Thursday. Sometimes. We've been doing this for a long time. Throwback Thursdays aren't quite as popular as they used to be. So sometimes I might share on that day something from an outside source. It's usually going to be something related to optimism. It might be something related to leadership, but something that's going to help both our members and our club succeed. On Friday, I like to share something funny. I also might share district news on Friday. I chose Friday for district news because that would usually be when you're going to a district meeting. So it's a real easy day to share the pictures as you arrive and as the opening ceremonies happen, maybe something from the hospitality room. Now on Saturday, I like to share a membership tip. Again, people don't always like membership tips. I used to share something pretty strategic every Saturday, and in fact, I have been sharing a membership tip for almost 6 years now on the second Saturday of every month. I used to do it weekly, but as I said, people are a little hesitant about really listening to recruiting and retention type information. So by narrowing it down to once a month, it gets a lot of shares and a lot of likes. And then on the other Saturdays, I still share something about membership. I just soft pedal it. So you can always talk about membership. We need those members. We need the members so that we can serve our community better. Now on Sunday, I like to give appreciation. If I'm not feeling real appreciative about something or something's not coming to mind, I'll share a club story. And guess what? When you share a club story, you automatically become appreciative because you get optimistic about what you've read. The other thing about Sunday appreciations is so many holidays happen that day. So it's a great way to connect with both your internal audience and your external audience. Number 3 is share stories, photos, and memes that you've created. Now, this picture here is something that I created. I believe that volunteers are superheroes. That's me, my avatar as a superhero. I'd like you to be an optimist volunteer. There are a couple of different marketing sessions that are being delivered today or through the convention as well. One of them is going to teach you how to create memes. So I do want you to go back and watch that. We have the opportunity to watch these programs throughout the year. And then one of the other ones is how to create engaging content. So definitely be sure and read that one so that you know how to get people to read what you're writing, because no point in putting it out there if they're not reading it. Now on this next slide, we are going to talk about that text just a little bit, and that's because our number 4 tactic is to use keywords and hashtags. So keywords are these things that I have highlighted in yellow. A keyword is something that if someone goes to Google and says, I want to find out about, in this case, superheroes who are doing great work in our communities during the COVID-19 pandemic, people who are helping children, volunteers. These are our keywords that if you have them in your text, Google is going to index that, and hopefully you will appear in that list in the Google search. So for this particular text that was about superheroes, and volunteers being superheroes. The keywords were superheroes, COVID-19, children, helpers, volunteers, optimists, hope, bring out the best, Optimist International, of course, and Optimist Volunteer. We also have hashtags, and hashtags are those, little pound sign with a word after it. And you might create some of your own, but the ones that Optimist International is promoting so that when you use a hashtag, if somebody searches by that hashtag, you're going to show up in that filter. So hashtag imagine, hashtag be an optimist, and then coming up here in the coming year, our hashtag will be choose optimism. Now, this one seems pretty simple, but people forget. Our number 5 tip is share your web address, your URL. Now, it seems kind of silly, but if you tell people follow me, but you don't tell them where to follow you at, how are they going to be able to do it? So if you have a website, you might want them to follow your website. Give that website URL. If you want them to follow your Facebook page, give them that Facebook page URL. This particular set of text here that I have, I wanted them to join an Optimist Club was the idea. So the URL that I gave them was to the optimist.org member and club directory. So always share the web address that you want them to visit or follow. And you do a lot of talking about yourself, or in this case, our Optimist Club, a lot of talking about your own Optimist Club when you're running a Facebook page and you're trying to gain followers about your project, about your mission. But it's also good to curate and share stories and photos from other places. This particular picture is how to stay optimistic when everything seems wrong. It was an article that appeared in the New York Times. Fortunately, it's not too hard to find stories about Optimist Clubs. It's not too hard to find stories about optimism. So it's getting easier to find stories about Optimist Clubs too. But in this case, you're wanting to share something from outside. And you do notice that I used the word curate. Curate is an important word because, when you go to a museum, you don't find a child's refrigerator art posted next to the Mona Lisa. You have to be smart about the things that you post and how you do it so that it is of interest to the audience that you are trying to reach. So be a curator and help people learn more about optimism as they learn about your Optimist Club. Now, think back to those statistics that I shared with you. I said that there were 2 billion active monthly users on YouTube. So eventually, you are going to want to become a video producer. Well, guess what? All of those things you can do on YouTube, pretty much you can do those things on Facebook too. They also are a huge video platform. So this graphic just shows you the things that you need to know to make a video. And it's just the steps in the process. Very similar to the process that we are using for social media. So why are you making a video? What are you trying to say? Who is your audience? What do you want them to do? Get your cell phone out and give it a try. You'll get better with practice. When you're on Facebook or any social media platform, you have to remember to be human. I bet you have at least one Facebook friend who shares absolutely everything they see. They share cartoons, they share media, they share stories about the government or about elections or about scandals. and they don't make any effort to see if what they're sharing is true. Don't do that. Those same people will say, oh, I'm in Facebook jail. Facebook won't let me post. Well, that's because you're acting like a robot and they don't know whether you're a real person or not. So don't do that with your Facebook page. Hopefully you don't do that with your own page, but don't do it with your club's Facebook page because you need to be a human. And that means that you need to be conversational with the people who are engaging with you. You need to be conversational with the things that you post. However, you also, as number 9 says, you need to consistently post at a comfortable rate. Now, some experts claim that at least 3 times a day is what you need to do on Facebook. Post at least 3 times. Personally, I'm more of a 1 or 2 time a day person. But you need to do what's comfortable for you and what seems to be comfortable for your audience as well. The important thing to learn on number 9, though, is to be consistent. Don't post 10 things on Saturday and then not post anything again until the following Saturday. Facebook will lose interest in you. Your audience will lose interest in you. You'll just lose followers if you do it that way. Plus, Facebook has a scheduling option. You can choose to schedule those 10 things and consider your content calendar. Instead of putting them all on Saturday, see if they can't spread out throughout the week, and then you'll be covered for everything that you wanted to do that week. And then our last tactic, number 10, is for you to listen some more. Because you're going to be hearing different things than you heard when you first got started, because people are going to be seeing your posts. They are going to be seeing what's happening with your Optimist Club, and you want to hear if they are appreciating it. You want to read. You want to see if they're sharing it. Hopefully, you're also going to start getting some engagement from these posts and the likes and the shares, and people will start writing. Oh, this is a really great idea. I'm going to tell you the people who write the most are the negative Nellies, the ones that want to complain about something. This is where you need to be careful because it says listen some more and when appropriate respond. You don't have to respond to everything that comes across. Those negative Nellies, very often, one of your other followers are going to come to your defense. They're going to explain what's been said. And that way you don't have to get on there and say, well, this is what I meant to say. So don't reply to everything. Reply to some things. And be careful about being defensive because it's probably not needed. And somebody is going to help you with that. And then this is just a little extra tip. When your audience has grown, and it will because you're going to be working at this process of getting new followers. When your audience has grown, consider starting a Facebook group for your internal communications. Don't do it immediately. It's tempting. Some people do. But you need your regular members to be part of your page because the people who see their friends and their friends of friends will see that they have liked that page, and then they will like it as well. That's part of how you grow your following. And then when your audience has grown, consider starting that Facebook group for your internal communications. So now let's review the steps in our social media process. First, you always want to ask, what is our goal? Why are we doing this? Who is our audience? Who are we wanting to speak to with our Facebook page, with the posts that we're creating? Next, go to what are our tactics? And you get to use all of those 10 fun things that we talked about. And then how will you measure your efforts? That is the social media process steps. Now let's recap the top 10 tactics. Number 1, listen. Number 2, create a content calendar. Number 3, share photos, stories, and memes that you create. 4, use keywords and hashtags. 5, share your URL or your website address. 6, curate and share stories and photos from other places. 7, become a video producer. 8, remember to be human. 9, consistently post at a comfortable rate. And 10, listen some more and when appropriate, respond. Now let's start our own social media following by liking and sharing each other's posts. Hopefully you already do, but if you don't, like and follow the Optimist International Facebook page. It's listed right here. Follow the P&W Optimist Clubs on Facebook. Their URL is listed. Follow me on Facebook. I'd love to have you follow me. And then, if you would, share your Optimist Club's Facebook page so that I can follow you back. So now it's time where we would normally ask questions. So you may email me at linda@newoptimistclub.com. Call me on my cell phone, 208-861-2310. Or the next time you're on Facebook, ask to join the Optimist International Marketing Group. I look forward to seeing you really soon at a meeting or on Facebook. Thank you for being here today.